Now I've made bacon out of just about everything, but the one thing I haven't made bacon out of yet is a potato. Now we're not gonna be directly making bacon from a potato, we're gonna be making bacon from potato starch. Now you can buy potato starch, which is exactly what I did. We're not gonna run through the process, but if you wanted to, you can get a potato, peel it, chop it up, throw it in a blender, blend the potato, you can add a little bit of water if you need to, run the potato through a cheesecloth or a nut milk bag, let the starch settle at the bottom. Once the starch settles at the bottom, pour the top water off, and keep repeating with water until you get clean water and white starch. Now every potato has an average of about 30 grams of starch per potato, so we would need around 7 potatoes to get the amount of starch that we need for this recipe. So that's why today we're gonna be making our bacon from store-bought potato starch and not the starch that we have here. Okay, so now that we know how to do that, let's make our bacon. Now this bacon is gonna be fairly simple. It's gonna have a lot of the same ingredients that you're used to in my bacon recipes, and that's gonna be the maple syrup, liquid smoke, paprika, mushroom seasoning, and beetroot powder. This is the new bacon flavoring that we've been doing that has been just out of this world good. So to get started, I'm gonna be boiling about 2 cups of water. So we're gonna start this off with 2 bowls, 1 cup of potato starch in each bowl, 1 tablespoon of coconut oil in each bowl. And now in our larger bowl, we're gonna add all of our flavoring, which is gonna be 1 tablespoon of mushroom seasoning, ½ teaspoon paprika, 1 teaspoon beetroot powder, teaspoon liquid smoke, and 1/4 cup maple syrup. Now I'm just gonna try to mix this up as best as I can to get it to combine. That oil is gonna be a little tricky, but that's okay. Just try to get as much of this distributed throughout those starches as you can. So once our water is boiling, we're gonna pour in 3/4 of a cup of boiling water into our flavored starch and a full cup of boiling water into our unflavored starch. Just gonna quickly mix in everything from the unflavored starch. And we're gonna do the same thing over here on the flavored one. We're gonna add an additional ½ cup starch to our flavored broth. Quickly get that mixed in. We'll let the flavored broth cool, and then we're gonna start kneading together our unflavored starch. This is still really hot, so might have to wait just another minute. So now that we have 2 decent starch balls here, we have our flavored starch ball, which is a little bit more firm. This is perfect. We wanna be able to actually work with this. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna add a touch of tapioca starch just to kind of make this tighten up a little bit, be a little bit more of like a dough ball. We're gonna do the same thing in the white portion, and then we're just gonna knead this in until we have smooth, pliable dough balls. So all we wanna do at this point is shape out our bacon. So I'm just gonna kind of flatten this out. You can use a rolling pin. That's probably what I'm gonna end up getting to. Now let's just add our white piece to the top. Now this one's a little bit more difficult, but again, we're just gonna flatten it out, kind of push it in, make sure it doesn't overlap anything here. And now that we have our 2 flours, we're just going to roll them out, make sure they're rolled out pretty thin, and then overlap them, just kind of make sure that they're kind of doubled up, rolled out as thin as you can get it. And then we're going to fold this over as best as we can, and then keep folding over. Now I'm only doing this probably about 4 inches wide, about as wide as my hand. If you have to, just kind of roll out flat. And same thing, we're just going to pick up this last side. So at this point we have our block of bacon, of vegan pork belly made out of starch. This stuff looks amazing. Now, really, the only way to do this is we're going to oil our knife. Make sure our knife is nice and oiled. Make sure your pan is already nice and hot with some oil in it. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna slice our bacon. Now, it probably won't come out perfect, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as you can see, we have this nice streaky bacon. Now the nice thing is you can wrap this up and freeze it, which is what I'm gonna do. And then once you freeze it, it might actually be a little bit easier to slice up, but you can just slice it and fry up pieces of bacon as you want. And then let's just drop in our bacon. Now once you see the bacon turn clear, then you can go ahead and just give it a flip. Once you see the white part of the bacon start to clear up, that's when you can give it a flip. I mean, and then at this point, look at this. This is our monster thick cut bacon. Look at how thick that is. And the cool, I mean, you just gotta look at the sides of this. I mean, unbelievable. I'm just so excited about this bacon. And the nice thing is it snaps. but then also has the chew from the fat part. I mean, just awesome bacon flavor. Hold on. There's your bacon, baby.
Okay, cheers. That's awesome.
Really good, right?
Yeah, definitely has the like crunch and the texture of bacon.